Second Vice President Zina describes the church as a partner in development. Ministry of Health urges media to step up awareness on the human papillomavirus HPV vaccine to reduce cancer cases in Malawi. And in sports, Mighty Wanderers beat FCB Nyasa Big Bullets by 3-0 to narrow the gap with the league leaders. Second Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, Right Honorable Zina, has emphasized the need for a cordial relationship between religious bodies and the government for continued peace and stability in the country. Zina says as the period of politics is now over, the focus should now be on development projects to benefit Malawians, and that religious bodies are crucial as they are already assisting the government in sectors of health, education, humanitarian support, and others. The second Vice President was speaking this at Katawa CCP under the Synod of Livingstonia in Mzuzu, where he attended prayers. Meanwhile, the leadership at the church thanked President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika for fulfilling his promise of incorporating a northern region-based resident in the presidency. They said this is a way to go in fostering unity. The government has underscored the importance of accessing treatment for non-communicable diseases in well-equipped health facilities across the country. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Dan Namarika, made these remarks in Mangochi during the opening of a newly constructed non-communicable disease treatment facility at Mangochi District Hospital. The facility has been constructed with the financial support from Malawi's development partners, United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, and Partners in Health. Sotindazi has filed a report read by Owen Mavula.
Non-communicable disease, NCD, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, or hypertension, is a growing threat to public health, accounting for many deaths all over the world, including Malawi. In most parts of the country, reports indicate that individuals and families affected by the condition struggle to access quality health care and support. Responding to the challenge, Malawi's development partners, UNICEF, and Partners in Health have facilitated the construction of a treatment facility at Mangochi District Hospital in a quest to provide comprehensive services and improve the lives of those affected. Speaking during the official opening of the facility, Principal Secretary for the Ministry of Health, Dr. Dan Namarika, hailed the development partners for the gesture, saying it will help improve overall health outcomes of those affected.
We're seeing a rise in the prevalence of non-communicable diseases. Just to mention examples of non-communicable diseases would include hypertension, diabetes, sickle cell, heart diseases that affect the valves, mental illness, cancers, epilepsy, asthma. All those are examples of non-communicable diseases. And just to give you figures, that for hypertension in adults, we know that 1 in 3 people have hypertension. For diabetes, we know that as a population in adults, 5% of our population has diabetes.
According to available information, there are over 1,000 diabetic patients in Mangochi District alone expected to benefit from the newly constructed health facility. One of the patients is Fatima Fatiano.
Vutika kupita malumu awandiawa kumabesizi mathandiza poti punalipo ngobwerekera mbere lolo pobwera chetu ngatishi tashirandira kwambiri.
Non-communicable disease mental health director for Partners in Health, Dr. Brown Kongo, said the institution is fully committed to supporting government through the Ministry of Health in promoting access to quality health care in the district.
We collaborate with the ministry to support with recruitment, to support with making sure that the staff that the ministry has recruited have received the right training, the mentorship support, so that they have the knowledge and the skills to support patients that are living with non-communicable diseases.
World Health Organization, WHO, reports that a lot of adults aged 30 to 79 who have hypertension, for example, are unaware of their condition in Malawi.
In a related development, the Ministry of Health has urged the media to step up awareness on the human papillomavirus HPV vaccine to help curb rising cancer cases in the country. EPI Routine Immunization Officer Dueni Jumachapera said HPV vaccination protects girls from cervical cancer, but coverage has remained low since its introduction in 2019. This was said during a media briefing in Ponela. Trinitega Pantengo reports.
According to the Ministry of Health, cervical cancer poses a significant public health challenge in Malawi, claiming approximately 1,600 lives annually. Projections indicate that the number of deaths could rise to 15,705 by 2030. Reports also show that Malawi ranks second globally in cervical cancer mortality rates. As part of efforts to address this challenge, the Ministry of Health is conducting a human papillomavirus HPV vaccination campaign for girls born between 2007 and 2016, aged 9 to 18 years, to protect them from cervical cancer. The campaign will run from 27th October to 31st October 2025. Expanded program on immunization. Routine Immunization Officer at the Ministry of Health, Dueni Jumachapera, emphasized the importance of the vaccine as one of Malawi's key intervention strategies.
So as you can see from the statistics, and that we are second globally, we saw the initiative that we need to do something in order to protect our women. So the cervical cancer vaccine, which we call the HPV vaccine, was introduced in Malawi in 2019, and it was being given to girls who are 9 years to 14 years. Later on, it was also given to the 9-year-olds. So we saw that from 2019 up to now, a lot of girls missed. So that is why this year, the campaign that we are having, we are targeting from 9 years to 18 years.
In his remarks, Technical Advisor for Vaccine Preventable Diseases at AMREF Health Africa, Chris Chinkota, said cervical cancer is one of the cancers that can be prevented through vaccination, provided it has not yet developed. He noted that the initiative forms a critical part of the country's border cancer prevention strategy, targeting young girls before they are exposed to HPV.
Cervical cancer is one of the critical diseases that affecting not only our economy but the health of women in Malawi. And this is a serious issue that we feel we need to support government to deal with. And the other aspect is that despite all those issues, you would say that the current rate of those that have been vaccinated is only 22%, and we would really want to take part in ensuring that we are able to take up that coverage and push it from 22 to probably 95%.
HPV is a common virus that spreads easily through skin-to-skin contact during sexual activity. Risk factors for HPV infection and cervical cancer include early sexual activity, multiple sexual partners, and smoking. The ministry is also encouraging women to go for cervical cancer screening, as symptoms of the disease often appear only after it has reached an advanced stage. Furthermore, the ministry is urging the media to raise awareness by sharing accurate information, helping to educate communities, dispel myths, and encourage participation in the vaccination drive. Trinity Kapantengo, MBC News, Doha.
Thousands of people took part in Think Pink Malawi's annual awareness walk in Lilongwe to mark World Breast Cancer Day. The event also celebrated the organization's 11-year journey of breaking the silence and stigma surrounding the disease. Co-founder Elena Nkosi says the milestone reflects a growing openness in conversations about breast cancer and support for those affected. More in this report by Shira Kasambiza, but read in our studios by Trinity Kapantengo.
Breast cancer remains one of the most common cancers among women, yet it is highly treatable when detected early. Malawi continues to make progress in this fight by expanding access to screening and diagnostic services and by offering treatment within the country thanks to improved medical equipment. However, fear and misconceptions about the disease still persist, leading to delayed diagnosis and preventable deaths. During the commemoration, co-founder of Think Pink Malawi, Elena Nkosi, said said that although much has been achieved, more needs to be done to deepen public understanding of breast cancer. She noted that while the name itself once instilled fear, continued engagement has encouraged many people to come forward for screening. Those diagnosed, she added, now receive the news with hope, knowing that breast cancer can be treated.
So that people know more about breast cancer, understanding what it is, separating the myths from the facts. Like you said, a lot of people don't come out and talk about cancer. I think just the word cancer is quite scary, regardless of whether it's breast cancer or cervical cancer. So we're just trying to start the conversations and let people know that there is treatment in Malawi, there is care, you can get treated, you can detect it early, and if you do, you can save a life, your life or somebody in your family's life.
Team leader Ella Kaira expressed satisfaction with growing public response to early screening and treatment. She emphasized that Think Pink Malawi has reached over 6,000 people and provided medical support to more than 100.
The great change is that now people are opening up. You know, in the past it was an issue, though it's a public health issue, but people were not openly talking about it. There were issues of fear of where to get treatment. People didn't know that there's complete treatment in Malawi now. People didn't know that there are medications that if diagnosed early, if detected early, they have higher chances of being cured of the disease. So people striking the conversations is what we've noted, and that's what we're proud to say we've contributed. Because we are not only doing this in the urban area, we also go to the rural areas. So in the rural areas, people are talking about it. It's no longer a secret. It's no longer something that people now directly associated with myths and beliefs in the cultural beliefs in the community. So we've dispelled the rumors. We've corrected the myths and misconceptions.
As part of this year's commemoration, the organization offered free breast and cervical cancer screening under the theme, Early Detection Saves Lives.
This is MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Second Vice President Zina describes the church as a partner in development. Ministry of Health urges media to step up awareness on the human papillomavirus HPV vaccine to reduce cancer cases in Malawi. And in sports, Mighty Wanderers beat FCB Nyasa Big Bullets by 3-0 to narrow the gap with the league leaders. The government has reaffirmed its dedication to helping girls pursue education and confidently speak out on challenges that hold them back. The Ministry of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare, working together with several civil society and non-governmental organizations, joined the communities at Intagadaga in traditional authority Kajindamoto's area in Dedza district to commemorate the International Day of the Girl Child. More in this report by Vincent Masea, but read in our studios by Austin Fukula.
This year's commemoration held under the theme, The Girl I Am, The Change I Lead, Girls on the Front Lines of Crisis, celebrated the growing role of girls in shaping their own future. The event focused on empowering them to stay in school and to speak openly about issues such as early marriage and gender-based violence. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare, Esme Kainja, said government remains committed to ensuring that every girl has the opportunity to learn and thrive. She noted that while Malawi has made progress in reducing child marriages, more effort is still needed to eliminate the practice entirely.
Girl child has the power to define what she wants, and she has been exposed to so many gender-based violences, but it is time that she's realized that I can lead and not be passive. And what is important in this year, we are also celebrating the impact of our services as partners, as government on the lead, the development partners, the civil society organizations, and the community, that what we are doing to support the child is bearing fruits.
Senior Manager for Advocacy and Campaigns at Save the Children, John Chipeta said the organization continues to use different platforms to promote girls' education and create safe spaces where they can speak out on issues affecting their lives.
So there are various platforms in the country where we feel the girl child should be part of, and therefore we empower them so that they can be able to speak for themselves, they can be able to articulate and demand their rights, but also they can be able to speak on issues that affect them within their communities. So we link them to a number of platforms beyond the child-centered platforms that I've talked about.
The day ended with renewed calls for unity among stakeholders to build a Malawi where every girl can learn, read, and live free from fear.
Meanwhile, young girls from diverse backgrounds in Chikwawa district have sent a poignant appeal to authorities in the district to address issues of forced marriages and teenage pregnancies. The girls disclosed this during a girls-led full council meeting on issues that affect them, organized by AIDS Healthcare Foundation Malawi as part of marking the International Day of the Girl Child. Chisomo Break reports.
As part of activities to mark the International Day of the Girl Child in Chikwawa, AIDS Healthcare Foundation Malawi, a non-governmental organization that works in the areas of HIV prevention and girl child education, organized a girls' takeover full council meeting. The full council meeting was a simulation of some of the works that authorities at the district council undertake. The overarching agenda was not only to give the girls a glimpse of how work and some decisions are made at the district council, but also a platform to unearth issues that affect them. Linda Zinkambani, who acted as the council's chairperson, urged authorities to address forced child marriages and teenage pregnancies, which, she said, are widespread. Chikwawa District Council acknowledged the challenges raised and said it was geared to address some of them. Alan Kazembe is Principal Administrative Officer for the Council.
I think as a part of government, we are ready to assist in one or two of the issues that have been raised. Because they are pertinent, the real issues on the ground, and as a government we have a number of interventions that have been put in place to address such issues.
As Healthcare Foundation Malawi Advocacy Officer Devs Mwachumu said he was encouraged to see girls fighting for their rights and raising issues that are detrimental to their future.
This press, they came up with challenges to do with education, health, menstrual health, and also their participation in council planning and budgets. So as you witnessed during the discussions, we have seen some responses from the council, from the DA, that are positive, and we are hopeful that going forward some of the issues that they brought will be addressed based on the responses we have been given. And in addition to that, as an organization, we will make some efforts to make sure that we follow up in terms of the implementation of whatever we have been shared.
International Day of the Girl Child is observed every year to celebrate girls in the world, amplifying their voices, actions, and leadership. Chisomo Break, NBC News, Chikwawa.
A Habitat for Humanity has commissioned a water system that will supply clean potable water to 8 villages under traditional authority Masumbankunda in Lilongwe rural. One of the residents, Lones Nation, says the development means they will no longer have to drink water from untreated streams and rivers. Austin Fugula reports.
Water is life for Lones Nation and more than 4,000 others under traditional authority Masumbankunda. Access to clean water has been a nightmare. She says they used to drink untreated water.
We are happy with this development from Habitat for Humanity. We used to drink water from untreated sources, which posed serious health risks such as waterborne diseases.
Habitat for Humanity Programs Manager Lucy Mwase says the organization has provided people in Masumbankunda with a solar-powered water system and installed a groundwater monitoring machine called telemetric. She explains that the machine will help measure the availability of groundwater in the area.
Telemetry machine is going to help us monitor how the underground water is performing. So there are so many parameters. We are looking at the water quality, the water levels, and contamination. There are so many parameters that will also be able to monitor. And this is going to be done in real time and online. So they don't have to come here and do the manual checking and all that. Everything, the telemetry machine is going to transmit data to the National Water Resource Authority.
Meanwhile, Habitat for Humanity has handed over the groundwater monitoring machine to the National Water Resources Authority, NWRA. Chief Executive Officer of NWRA, Dwight Kambuku, expressed gratitude to the organization for its water development initiatives in Masumbankunda and other areas across the country.
This is very important because it helps the authority to know how much groundwater we have in this area. The aquifer type of this area over time will change, the levels of groundwater will change because we are pumping. You know, the system that we have here under Habitat for Humanity is using groundwater. And therefore, it's very important that we know how much our activities are impacting the stored groundwater resource.
Habitat for Humanity is also constructing houses for vulnerable households and building pit latrines in Masumbankunda as part of its effort to provide decent housing and improve sanitation for local communities. Austin Fukula, MPC News, Lilongwe.
In the wake of climate change, farmers have been urged to adopt smart farming technologies. Executive Director for CAT, Macleo Dinghoma, made the call during a handover of Makoka drip irrigation system to Makoka Research Station in Zomba. Charles Pensulo reports.
Nkhoma said as Malawi and the world as a whole struggle with climatic shocks, there is need to devise ways of transforming agriculture, hence commending synthesis agriculture for setting the pace on the use of smart farming.
The contractor, Synthesis Agriculture, they have installed the system exactly on how we specified to them. They have tested the system. I think as we went around before this handover, we are satisfied that the system is in good working order.
Manager for Vumbwe Research Station in Cholo, Isaac Fandika, was the guest of honor during the handover ceremony. Fandika said, among others, the 60 million kwacha irrigation system will assist in crop research as well as training farmers on crop diversification.
This time Malawi and the global as a whole, we are experiencing climate change. With this climate smart agriculture that has been given to Makoka Research Station, we expect that from our station will be able to produce seed of good quality regardless of the problem of rainfall.
Synthesis Agriculture was contracted to construct the irrigation system with funding from Center for Agricultural Transformation, CAT. Head of Irrigation for Synthesis Agriculture, Karorama Masangwi, said they have constructed the system to impact on farming technology. He further said the lifespan for the system is over 5 years, hence contributing much to crop research.
The synthesis agriculture, we are targeting towards clean energy usage, where we mean solar. So one of the clean energies that we have is solar. Solar doesn't emit any greenhouse effects, and it helps that we should not have any environmental impacts to the environment.
The Makoka drip irrigation system, which covers 1 hectare, has a 10,000-liter water storage tank, demarcated into 10 plots, solar-powered submersible pump, among others. Charles Pensulo, MPC News, Zomba.
Finally, in sports, Mighty Wanderers were in a class of their own when they thrashed FCB Nyasa Big Bullets by 3-0 in the second round of the TNM Super League to narrow the gap with the league leaders to a point. The match was played at Kamuzu Stadium in Blantyre. Norbert Jameson reports.
It was a flawless performance from Wanderers, who would have scored even more goals as they dominated the entire match against an out-of-sorts Bullets side. Substitute Wallace Adam opened the scoring in the 22nd minute before another substitute, Blessings Singini, netted twice in the second half to put the contest to bed. The win has taken Wanderers' tally to 48 points, just a point behind Bullets, who have played a game more. This is the first time in 14 years for Wanderers to beat Bullets twice in the league in one season, following a 1-0 victory in the first round. And this is also the first time in 15 years for the Nomads to win with more than 2 goals. The two teams will meet again on 1st November in the semi-finals of the FDH Bank Cup at the Kamuzu Stadium. Elsewhere in the Super League, Moyale Barracks moved out of the relegation zone after beating fellow military outfit Kamuzu Barracks by 2-1 at Nzuzu Stadium. The win has taken the Lions of Kaningina from position 14 to 11 in the league. Norbert Jameson, NBC Sport.
Well, that item concludes this edition of NBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. Second Vice President Enoch Jihana describes the church as a partner in development. Ministry of Health urges media to step up awareness on the human papillomavirus HPV vaccine to reduce cancer cases in Malawi. And in sports, Mighty Wanderers beat FCB Nyasa Big Bullets by 3-0 to narrow the gap with the league leaders.